Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana Midday.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana Midday. I'm Kyle Smedley. After the day off Sunday, the jury is back at work in the Delphi murder case. Richard Allen's fate now rests in the hands of the jurors. They have now deliberated for 2.5 days. Allen is accused of killing Libby German and Abby Williams in 2017. The Carroll County prosecutor told the court in the weeks-long trial that Allen had repeatedly confessed to the murders, on the phone and in person. Allen's attorney says he was innocent, citing no DNA from Allen at the scene or witness identification. Allen could face up to 130 years in prison if he's convicted. New developments this morning regarding the plea deals for the alleged 9/11 conspirators. The military judge in Guantanamo Bay has agreed to delay the hearings for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Walid bin Attash, and Mustafa Ahmed Adam al-Hawsawi. The U.S. and the alleged conspirators reached a deal in July after more than 2 years of negotiations. The men would plead guilty to avoid the death penalty and be sentenced to life in prison. But Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin revoked the plea deals in August, arguing the responsibility for such a significant decision should rest with him. A defense official says a new date will be determined in December or January. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is eager to turn the page on his often difficult relations with the Biden administration and see Donald Trump back in the White House. As Matthew Chance reports, the Prime Minister and the President-elect have already been talking about what lies ahead for the U.S. and Israel.
Well, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he and President-elect Trump have spoken 3 times in recent days, a sign of just how closely the two figures are now collaborating. Netanyahu described the conversations as very good and important and, quote, aimed at strengthening the alliance between Israel and the United States. He added that he and Trump see, quote, eye to eye on the Iranian threat and the dangers that it poses. Well, Netanyahu was among the first leaders to congratulate Trump after his US election victory last week, calling it the world's greatest comeback. Many Israelis expect the new Trump administration will offer full-throated support to the Jewish state, especially amid an ongoing Israeli confrontation with Iran and its allies in the region. Matthew Chance, CNN, Jerusalem.
It's time to salute and thank those who have served or are actively serving in the armed forces. Monday is Veterans Day. The federal holiday is celebrated every year on November 11th, which is the anniversary of the end of World War I more than a century ago. It began as Armistice Day, but in 1954, Congress changed the name to Veterans Day. The holiday should not be confused with Memorial Day, which honors those who have died while serving in the military. Many government institutions and banks will be closed on Veterans Day since it is a federal holiday. However, major retailers and restaurants will be open, and some are offering deals for veterans. The United Nations Climate Change Conference gets underway today. This year's conference is being held through November 22nd in Azerbaijan. Nearly 200 countries will take part, but the meeting is being overshadowed by Donald Trump's vow to withdraw from the U.S. again from the 2015 Paris Climate Accord. CNN's chief climate correspondent Bill Weir reports on what's at stake at this year's COP29.
Yes, COP29 opens on Monday in Baku, Azerbaijan, a tiny little petrostate on the Caspian Sea. The Conference of the Parties, as they're known, this is the 29th of them. The last one, a year ago, had the world agreeing to turn away from the fossil fuel era, that dirty, polluting, planet-cooking fuels. That era is over and it's time to electrify. Well, another petrostate hosting it now with questions about their intentions, whether to use this to exploit more oil and gas deals or really try to bring diplomacy together. And then casting the biggest pall of all is the election in the United States. Donald Trump reelected as the most notorious climate denier in recent global history, threatening to claw back and undo as much of the Biden climate agenda as he possibly can. Some of it has momentum, especially in red Republican states. Ground is broken on big projects, and it'll be tough to claw those back, but we'll see if he tries to end new rules on tailpipe emissions and power plant rules, incentives for families to electrify with cleaner stoves or furnaces. All of those are questionable, especially with the House of Representatives up for grabs. So that reality will cast a pall on all the climate diplomacy in Baku this week. President Biden was never really planning to attend this. There are diplomats from the U.S., but what kind of promises can they make with so much uncertainty for what comes next? And at the same time, all of this is playing out. Copernicus, the European Space and Weather Agency, basically says this: the data shows 2024 will be the first to shatter that 1.5 degrees Celsius ceiling that the world agreed to back in 2016 in the Paris Accords. This was the first full year above that limit. That's almost about 3 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than we were before the Industrial Revolution. Right now, the warmer it gets, the more fossil fuel pollution blankets the sky, the wilder and crazier the weather is going to get, the more this wildfire phenomenon takes off in confounding ways. Out in Los Angeles, the winds were so strong they had to ground firefighting airplanes and had to worry more about evacuations than actually putting out house fires. Adaptation is everything these days, and it seems to be happening, the calamity, faster than people can adapt. All the politics around this issue are going in the opposite direction. Bill Weir, CNN, New York.
Let's take a look at today's NewsLink Indiana weather. These are the conditions right now. It's 52 degrees under sunny skies. Expect a great fall day today with sunshine and a high around 60 degrees. Things will cool down just a bit in the 7-day forecast. High temperatures will mostly be in the 50s with lows in the 30s and 40s. The next chance of rain is on Thursday. After a win over the defending national champion Michigan Wolverines Saturday, the Indiana Hoosiers are now ranked number 5 in the Associated Press's weekly college football poll. IU has a record of 10-0 for the first time in program history, despite not playing any top 25 opponents so far. In the first college football playoff ranking of the season last Tuesday, Indiana was given an 8 seed out of 12 qualifying teams. If IU makes the college football playoff, it will be the first time the Hoosiers do so in program history. They currently have a 93% chance to make the playoff. If you've ever driven down Jackson Street, you might have heard some roaring engines. NewsLink Indiana's Sophie Schick took a pit stop to learn more.
Behind me is a go-kart track with a unique history and close family ties. Victory Laps has something in it for everyone in the Muncie community. Drivers, start your engines. The place was bought in the midst of COVID, unveiling a lot of work to be done. But owner Charles Venable had a vision for Victory Laps, and making it come to life was all he ever wanted.
I had a vision of what I thought it would look like, but to see people coming out here, families coming out here, private event after private event, party after party, it's definitely something I never imagined.
He invested more into this place than just go-karts. Victory Laps is complete with putt-putt, cornhole, basketball, and more. Charles runs the track with the help of his wife and daughters, so seeing new families make new memories is beyond special for him.
Is seeing 4 generations of a family being out there on the track at the same time and having a grandma that was 98 years old with all that generation coming. That was what was awesome to me.
Apart from being a family man, Charles is also a Muncie native and devotee.
You know, I'll never forget, I'm born and raised from 1216 East 7th Street. That's where my humble beginnings are, and the Muncie community means everything to me, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to invest in this place.
Investing in this place has not only fueled fun for Charles and his family, but for the Muncie community at large. If you have a need for speed, Victory Laps might just be for you. In Muncie, Sophie Schick, NewsLink, Indiana.
Victory Laps lives by the hashtag #GoKartForUs. For more information, visit their Facebook page. And that's your NewsLink webcast for today. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to join us tonight at 6:57 on Ball State PBS. And for news anywhere, anytime, go to ballstatedaily.com.